Hi guys, my name is Ryan and welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen my face before, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a story time about the time that I met Niall Horan. So let's just get started. So let's start from the beginning. I became a One Direction fan in like late 2010, early 2011, and from the beginning, Niall was always my favorite. Like, I don't know why, I was just like instantly drawn towards Niall. So I had seen One Direction 4 times. I saw them in Dallas at Take Me Home, Dallas at Where We Are, Tulsa at Where We Are, and then Boston for On the Road Again. And I'm not gonna lie, like after 2015, Niall didn't tour again by himself until 2017 for Flickr sessions, and like my fangirl had like kind of died down. Not like really, like I still like loved Niall so much, but I wasn't like obsessed with like meeting him as I used to be. So I went to Flickr sessions in Dallas, and after that, like my love was just like rebooted. I had already had tickets for Flickr World Tour to Tulsa. They were 8th row seats. And after the Flickr Sessions show, I was just like, I would do literally anything to meet this man. Like, I've waited so long, and like it's my time. All of my mutuals on Twitter were like getting meet and greets for Flickr World Tour, and a lot of my friends were meeting him, and I was like, it's my turn. Like, I deserve this. Like, I don't really spoil myself that often. Especially, like, at that point in my life. Like, I had never done a meet and greet. I really didn't stress about, like, getting front row seats. Like, it wasn't... I just wanted to be there. Which is not a bad thing. Like, it really just is a preference. But at that point, I was like, I've waited so long to meet him. Like, it's my time. And so it was November after my Flickr session show, and I was like, it would be like a good idea to ask for meet and greet for Christmas. So I got online and looked at the Tulsa show, because I live in Oklahoma, and there was still like 7 meet and greets left. And so I was like, okay, like I can ask for money for Christmas for a Niall meet and greet. And then, like, by the time Christmas comes around, there should still be some, because at that point, there was still, like, 7 available. Excuse me. And, so that's what I do. I tell everyone that I want money for Christmas for this Niall meet and greet, and I explain to everyone, like, why it means so much to me. Like, his music, like, got me through a lot, and I just, like, at that point, I was desperate. I was like, I need to meet him. Like, it's been 8 years of me being a stan. Like, it's my time. All of my friends are meeting him. It's my time. And so my grandparents are like all on board with it. My parents are kind of like iffy, because my parents like don't really understand my love for music as much as I would like them to, but they've kind of come around since that day because they realized how much it meant to me. But so I was really just kind of on my own, like trying to convince people like why it meant so much to me, because at that time I'm 17. I am still in high school. I don't have a full-time job. I'm like babysitting whenever I can, but like it's not enough for like a meet and greet, because Niall charges $650 for a meet and greet, and that's a lot of money. And so like I don't have time for a full-time job, because I'm a football manager, and that takes up a lot of time. Like literally constantly on a football field. Like, you think I'm kidding. I wish I was, but I'm not. So I'm like, maybe, like, I have a huge family, so I'm like, maybe if like everybody pitches in like a little bit, and then I add my money from like babysitting and stuff, like maybe it'll add up to be enough. And so that's what I do. And I'm like, there's 7 left at that time, around 7, maybe 8, maybe 6, I don't know. And that's like late November. And so at that point, I had like $200 saved. So I needed like $450 more. And So like 2 weeks later, it's like December like 10th, and I get online and there's literally like one meet and greet left, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's not gonna be there by the time Christmas comes around. Like I'm not gonna be able to do this, and I am just like absolutely devastated. My grandma is always the person that I talk to about this kind of thing, because she's the only person that like really understands like how much like my music means to me. Like it's a huge part of my life. Like I'm not just being dramatic or cheesy. Like music is a huge part of my life. Like I love it. And Niall really kickstarted that love for me. Like One Direction, Niall, like that was a huge part of starting like my love for music. So I texted my grandma and I'm like super upset. Like I'm literally crying in class, and I'm like, there's only one meet and greet left. Like I'm not gonna be able to do this. Like I'm super upset. And then like 2 days later, I get back online and I look, and the meet and greet is gone. There's no more meet and greets left, and I am just like absolutely crushed. At that point, like it's almost Christmas. Like I can't change what I asked for, and I'm literally devastated. And so like December like 20th, my grandma texts me and she says, Merry Christmas. I'm like, what? Like it's the 20th, like it's not Christmas. And then she sends a screenshot of a Niall meet and greet, and I have never been like so happy, grateful, everything in my life. Like I genuinely did not know how to react. And I was like, why did you do that? And she was like, listen, like I expect you to pay me back, but I know how much this means to you, and I really think that you should have this experience. And so they're the ones that like took me to the concert, and I paid her back as soon as I got the money for Christmas. And so that was like the start of it, I guess. And so my concert was in July, and I'm like struggling today. I don't know why. My concert was in July. I went down the day before the concert to check into my hotel. I had booked like a kind of expensive hotel because I wanted to stay in the same hotel as Niall, like so that like I could get more time to meet him, you know, because meet and greets are kind of rushed. You kind of don't have a lot of time to like talk about what you want to talk about. And so I was like, well, maybe if I stay at his hotel, like I'm not gonna bother him, but like if I happen to like run past him, then maybe like I can say something, and just like get more time. But I didn't. He ended up staying at the hotel across the street from my hotel, and I don't like going outside and waiting outside of people's hotels because of personal experience. I did it for One Direction for where we are, and I got kicked off the property, even though like I was just like literally just like standing outside with my friends. But they kicked us off the property, so I didn't want to do that, and I was like, I'm meeting him tomorrow anyways, so like it's not a big deal. I had literally painted my car windows like I'm meeting Niall, like the day, like I love Niall all over my windows. Like my fangirl had jumped out. People were taking pictures with my car and like putting it on Snapchat. Like I saw my car on Snapchat, I saw my car on Twitter, and it was just like really weird, but also like funny, because I was like, oh my god, I did this as like a joke, but like people thought it was really funny, so I was like, whatever, it's cool. My car is just all over social media. And people were Snapchatting me like, Ryan, is that your car? And I'm like, maybe. But yeah, my car was painted and like whatever. So the next day, the day of my show, I wake up and I'm like literally so excited. I wake up at like 8 a.m. and just like immediately hop out of bed and start getting ready. I literally did not eat at all that day before I met Niall, and I didn't meet him until like 4. Check-in was at 3, and me and my friends Catherine and Becca got in line at like 2-ish, and we were like in the first like 10-ish people in line. And Catherine ended up meeting up with her other friends, so it's just me and Becca like meeting Niall. And so we go through check-in, they take us inside and line us back up in the order that we were in. And then I think it was like literally right at 3 o'clock, They take us down the stairs into the arena, and then like there's like this little tunnel thing in the back of the arena, and then we walk through this tunnel, and in the back of the tunnel there's just like a big black curtain, and like you can hear Niall's voice like on the other side of the curtain, and me and Becca were like, oh my god, this is happening. And at that point I'm like, I don't even know what I'm gonna say to him. Like, I know that I want to talk about like how I literally flew across the country for him to go see him in Boston on his birthday, and like that was like one of the most special experiences of my life, because like I said, Niall has been such a huge part of my life, like huge, like you don't even, he's been such a huge part of my life, like it's crazy. And so at this point I'm just like, oh my god, like this is happening, like I'm about to meet like the person that truly means the absolute world to me. So Becca, I'm like starting to freak out, and Becca, we get to the front of the line, I'm like, Becca, go first, and Mark's standing there, and Mark's like, you're going first? She's like, yeah, whatever, and we like talk to Mark for a few seconds, and then he's like, all right, it's your turn. So Becca goes, and the lady had made it like very clear, like she was like, one picture per person. You can do a picture with like you and your friend, or you can do a picture with just you, like you can't do both. And so me and Becca were like, no, we want to do our individual photos, like that's what we wanted to do. So Becca goes in and takes her picture and like talks to Niall, and I'm like freaking out in line. My hands are clammy, and like I can't stop smiling, and I'm just watching Becca meet him, and I'm just like, oh my god, like this is happening. And then Mark's like, all right, it's your turn. I'm like, oh frick, oh my god. And as soon as I like walk into the room, Niall is standing there with his arms open, like ready for a hug, and I'm just like, oh my god, hi. And I like go to give him a hug, like he's already given me a hug. We're literally already hugging, and I go, can I have a hug? And he just starts laughing at me, and I'm like, I am so sorry, like I don't know what to say. What do you say to somebody that you've literally like been in love with for 8 years? Like, oh, it was crazy. And so I'm like, how are you? And he's like, I'm good, how are you? Like, are you ready for the show? And I'm like, I'm really excited. And I'm like frozen at this point. Like I don't remember what I wanted to talk about. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So he goes to like pose for a picture, just like in a normal pose, and I'm just like, can we hug for a picture? And he was like, yeah, of course. So we go and we hug again for a picture, and he was like, I hope you enjoy the show, and I was like, yes, thank you so much, you too. Literally, why did I say you too? It's his show. And then I was like, can I have one more hug? And we hugged, and then I left, and I was like, thank you so much for everything. And then me and Becca grab our purses, and we go into sound check. And at sound check, they like took us to our seats in like a single file line. So me and Becca were like the 10th people in line, so we were like dead center front row. So Niall finishes up the rest of his meet and greet. Everybody gets into sound check, and then they let in the people that are just doing sound check. And Niall comes out and he sings Fire Away, Mirrors, and I don't remember the other song. I feel it might have been The Tide. I don't remember, and that's so bad, because I don't think it was The Tide. I feel like I would have remembered if it was The Tide, because that's my song, obviously. So he sings his songs, and then he starts going to the Q&A part, and God, can I stop saying that? Sorry guys, I'm really bad at story times. Damn it. Dang it. So he goes into his Q&A session, and my question didn't get picked, but that was like okay, because I didn't really think out my question. I was just kind of like, I wrote down something random. I literally don't remember what my question was. So he starts to answer questions, and one of them was, what was like your favorite city to perform in, or like your favorite place to perform? And he said Gillette Stadium. and we're in the middle of Oklahoma, so like nobody knows where that is, but I do because that's where I saw him on his birthday in Boston. So I'm like, whoa, and it's like dead silent in there, and nobody else cares that like his favorite is Boston, but like I do because I was there, and that was like the best show I've ever been to. So I was like, whoa, and he kind of looked at me funny, and I was like, I was there for your birthday show for On the Road Again, and I had flew from Oklahoma to Boston to see you on your birthday. And he was like, oh my god, you were there? That's so cool. And I was like, yeah, that was like one of my favorite shows. And he was like, mine too, mine too. And he was like, yeah, that was my birthday show, wasn't it? And I was like, yeah, it was the day before your birthday. And he was like, you guys had a really cool fan project. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, good times, good times. And I was just like literally starstruck because I had just like talked to him about like what I had wanted to talk to him about in the first place. And Becca was like, Ryan, like you got to say what you wanted to say. Like she was so happy for me. She was so happy for me, and that meant a lot to me. So at that point I was just like content. I was like, okay, I'm cool. I got to say everything that I wanted to say pretty much. And so he continues on, and he said something about like releasing new music in March, or like starting to write new music in March, which by the way didn't happen, Niall. It's past March and we don't have new music. But he said it really funny. He was like, March. I don't know if it was his accent or if like he just like said it weird, I don't know. But me and Becca started dying laughing, and we were like, March, and just like making fun of him, just like joking. And he like started to fake cry, and he was like, stop making fun of me. Like it was all just like a joke, and it was really funny. And then he started making fun of me and Becca's accent. He was like, y'all, like making fun of our Oklahoma accents, I guess. And at that point I was just like dying laughing and like almost in tears, because I was like, this is really happening right now. Like I met him, I've gotten to talk to him, and what is my life? So after that, sound check was pretty much over after that. I think that was everything that I talked about. Like I said, it's been almost a year now, so everything's kind of foggy. I have all the audio and stuff from my meet and greet, but like it's still a little foggy. And so they took us back up into like the outside area. It's not outside, but like outside of the actual like arena. And so I finally got food. Me and Becca got some pizza, and then they started letting like everybody else in. So me and Becca had front row, I had third row, so we finally split up. She went with her sister because she had bought her tickets for her sister for her birthday present. And so I went down to my seat, and then I had made a group chat with like everybody that I could find on Twitter that was going to the Tulsa show. And we had called it Niall's Oklahos. And so let's talk about how Niall like introduced me to my best friend. So after sound check and everything, I ate my pizza, and then I went back down to my seat, and a couple of the girls from Niall's Oklahos had wanted to meet up, and so I was like, yeah, for sure. So I met up with Tiffany and Sarai, and they just like came into my seat and were like talking to me about how I met Niall and like how was it, and I was just like, oh my god, like it was amazing, like I'm still like in shock, whatever. And Sarai is like super tiny, super tiny. She's like fun size. And her seats were like in the, not like in the back of the floor, but like further back in the floor. And I was like, girl, how are you gonna be able to see? You are 3 feet tall. And she was like, oh, I'll be fine, like it's cool. And Tiffany was in the front row. And so Tiffany went to her seat, and I was like, after Marin, like come up here. Telling Sarai this, I was like, after Marin, like come up here. Like the seats were really spread out, like there was like this far between like the rows. And so I was like, I can squeeze you up here, like it's whatever, like they're not gonna, nobody's gonna notice, nobody's gonna say anything, like I got you, like just come up here after Marin. So after Marin, Tiffany and Sarai both came back to my seat, and Tiffany was like, Sarai, like stay with Ryan, like you'll be able to see up here, like it's gonna be better for you. And so I was like, I don't know, I don't want to get caught. And I was like, no, you're staying here. Like, sorry, you don't have a choice, you're staying here with me, because I don't know anybody. Like, I was sitting next to a dad, and so I was like, no, we're gonna have more fun if you stay here with me. And she's from California, so she didn't know anybody there besides like me and Tiffany. So I was like, no, you're staying here, like you're staying here with me, and we're gonna pop off and enjoy ourselves up here so that you can actually see. And then she was like, okay. So we finally convinced her to stay at my seat. And like at that point, me and her really didn't know each other very well. We had only known each other from the group chat, but like we really hadn't talked much, like just us. And like we had so much fun together. During the Tide, which is my song, I don't know if you'll know, but like that song means everything to me. It was my first tattoo. I got lyrics that say hold steady. So literally, like, that song means the absolute world to me. And during the Tide, me and Sadai were just like absolutely popping off, and I was just like jumping around, like just being a fool, and Niall was looking over in our direction, and I was just like jumping around acting like an idiot. And I think I did like heart hands or something. I don't really know what I was doing at that point. I was just like literally at my absolute happiest. And Niall saw me, and he just like sent me a little thumbs up and just kind of giggled at me. And me and Sadai were like, oh my god. And like so many people sent me videos of like that moment, like from their perspective, like where they were sitting. So I have like 50 different angles of the same video, just because Niall sent me a thumbs up during my song. And like, yes, it's just a thumbs up, but that was my song. And so I was like really happy, really grateful, and I was just like in tears at that point. Sadai was like making fun of me because I was yelling the entire time. Like, I'm so loud at concerts. Like, if you ever go to a concert with me, I'm probably the loudest. But she was like, I'm not going to be able to hear after this concert. And I was like, sorry. And we took a video during On My Own of me and her just like absolutely popping off. And like in that video, like you can really see like I am at my happiest, and like me and Sadai became best friends. Like, she is my best friend in the whole world. Like, I'm so lucky to have met her at that show, even though she lives in California. Like, we talk every day. Genuinely my best friend. Like, I love her with my entire heart. That was the first time like meeting in person. Like, we still haven't seen each other since that day, but like to this day we talk to each other every day, and she's my best friend. So like that entire show, that entire night was just like probably the best night of my entire life up to this point, because I met my best friend, Niall and Sadai, my best friends. So after the show, me and Sadai and Tiffany split up. We had to say our goodbyes. I was literally like so dead at that point. Like, I was happy, but I was sad because it was over. Like, I had waited for this day for 8 years, and it was over, and I didn't. I was just like, oh my god, that happened. Like, I met Niall today. What is going on? And even though it's been like almost a year, I still get emotional talking about it. I haven't seen Sadai since then, but like I said, my freaking best friend, we talk like all the time. Whenever something's going on in my life, I'm like, Sadai, I need you, I need to vent, and she does the same with me. So literally my best friend in the entire world. I do not know what I would have done if I hadn't gone to that show that day and met her and met Niall, because genuinely, like, I don't want to say like changed my life because that's so cheesy, but like it's true. Like, that day I met my best friend, and I'm so grateful for everything and everyone that helped make that day possible. And so I just wanted to make a story time talking about the time that I met Niall Horan. As crazy as it still is for me to say, it's been 11 months, I guess, almost, and it's still just as crazy to think about, just as crazy to talk about. And yeah, so if you guys liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you're still here, props to you, because this is a long story time. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today, so I'll see you in the next video.